Here over the log cabin where Abraham Lincoln was born, destined to preserve the Union and to free the slave, a grateful people have dedicated this memorial to unity, peace, and brotherhood among the states, with malice toward none, with charity for all. Here at the Abraham Lincoln National Park in Hodgensville, Kentucky. You know, as I think about the recent events in regard to so many things, but particularly statues and memorials and all the things that kind of go into that, particularly in regard to our nation's history, specifically our history regarding slavery and those that promoted it. I can't say that I have a real informed opinion about memorials in general, statues and things like that, but I do know that they do have their place and that they are important. A place like this is very important because of what it stands for, a man of integrity and character, a man that was definitely not perfect. Abraham Lincoln was far from that, just like all of us. But in him stood a lot of ideals of what we should aspire to as a country and aspire to as a people, and especially aspire to as believing Christians in Jesus Christ. Slavery is wrong. It's always been wrong. The Bible never condones it. And the Bible speaks to it. It speaks within the context of culture, and it tells believers and it tells people how to live within those constraints. But it also talks about us being kind and compassionate toward each other, forgiving as God in Christ has forgiven us. Those are the ideals we live by, and if memorials help us remember the important things, great. If they celebrate those that do not aspire to biblical values, then maybe something should be evaluated concerning that. August 2017, just drove through Hodgensville, Kentucky, stopped here. In that building houses the cabin that Abraham Lincoln grew up in, and they're doing some work back here. It's kind of loud. Bye. I will offer a brief opinion, though, in regard to statues and memorials and things like that. Whatever we do with them, whether they're out in public or whether they're in museums, which put in museums is a great idea. The good, the bad, and the ugly needs to be shared. It's not like we lift up anybody without telling their whole story. Confederate statues, all these things, they have their place within the history of our country, because there's things that have happened in this country that have shaped this country for good and for bad, and those are of historical importance. So, you know, right behind me is the visitor center here at the national park. It's a good place to hear about the Lincoln's family and how they moved over the years and ended up here and ended up in Indiana, and finally for Abraham Lincoln ending up in Illinois. Beautiful day. There's just some of my opinions and just some thoughts on the whole matter. There you go. Bye.